and if needs be, the police should be resourced to investigate as well.
Tom Watson, thanks very much indeed for talking to us. Now, small town inbreeding, blood and guts aren't the easiest of themes to stomach on a Sunday morning, so we'll keep this next item as clean as we can. The League of Gentlemen are back with the weird, if not monstrous, inhabitants of Royston Vasey, a fictional town set in the north of England. This year sees the creators, Mark Gatiss, Rhys Shearsmith, Steve Pemberton and Jeremy Dyson set to embark on a live tour. I asked them if they thought the themes that first shocked audiences 20 years ago were as funny as ever.
So, is it good to be back, Benjamin, after all this time?
It is.
Do you two know each other?
Yes, Barbara was the first person I met in Royston Vasey. And she was very friendly, as I remember it.
Hey, we'll have none of that in here. No hate speech. Gender-neutral pronouns only.
Royston Vasey, when it first arrived, the League of Gentlemen, first time round on television, really shocked people as the darkest place on British television. And a lot of the jokes then haven't really moved on. I mean, they're the same jokes about the transgender cab driver, but of course the country has moved on.
We're trying to mine the same vein of humour, because that's what we are, but at the same time to be aware of how things have changed, and particularly with Barbara, to, I think, address that we wouldn't do things quite the same way, but equally to point out to me, particularly, I think, the sort of absurdities of the kind of climate of moral outrage that surrounds so much of the world we live in. Barbara is now sort of identifying as an activist, and there's stuff you can still lampoon. I think that's the important thing, and we were very keen to sort of not sort of, you know, dodge it and to face it full on.
Terry Webster, head of PE.
Will Flip, Queen of Tweedsburg.
So what brings you back to Royston Vasey?
Oh, I just came back to dig up some old friends.
There's murder, there's paedophilia, and of course there's incest. Is there anything that you thought that's off limits?
Well, we always have the conversations. In fact, we had so many in-depth conversations, particularly when we were in the edit, didn't we? And we kept coming back to this thing that if it was a drama, you wouldn't be asking those questions.
It's satirical in a way, I think, and you know, as Jeremy said, those things exist, and we are putting a comic spin on it, definitely, but we should be allowed to cover those subjects, I think.
One thing that some people have said is that it's misogynistic, that its attitudes to women's sexuality is a bit much.
Well, we are four men.
Yeah, we are four men. I mean,
there is a good tradition of you know, female impersonation, and it has, you know, gone in peaks and troughs over the years, but I think that's a deeply British thing, and for us, we treat all the characters the same. We don't think about treating the female characters any differently to the male characters. We think, you know, they're all quite monstrous.
I think we play the women more. I mean, we're not Python Pepperpot caricatures. I think, you know, Jeremy always believes me as that I am a woman.
It's a remarkable thing when Rhys plays the character of Stella, that when you're on set with him, it is like
a northern woman.
There wouldn't generally be any point in doing these reunion episodes if people felt that we were just, you know, pulling our claws in and not being. We always said, you know, it was an edgy show. I used to get quite cross with people saying, oh, it's too dark, I can't. And I watched it again and I thought, oh my God, it is.
There's also a lot of warmth in the show, and I was really aware of that this time.
Is there?
I think there's a lot of warmth in their performances. You know, there's a curious thing that people love Tubbs and Edward, but they're murderers.
Edward! I've been catched in the Tefalone! Let me out! Look, Edward!
Quiet, Tubbs. I'm teaching the new tales a lesson. Our business is our business. Time to become local.
Jesus. Where did you get this from?
That's better.
One of the hostages works for the Chronicle. He came from Hairfound.
This is a local shop for local people. It's time we took back control.
If the country is divided between the kind of throbbing metropolitan areas and the left-behind areas, Royston Vasey is a pretty left-behind area. To what extent do you think you are critiquing the very people that you have been enjoyably standing up for this time?
Well, funnily enough, Hadfield, where we shot it, we went back to, has become very nice, and we had to make a big effort to mucky it up. In fact, it really is very nice now. So the brilliant thing about Hadfield for us is that they often credited us with sort of saving several businesses, and
the butcher's shop
particularly, and the influx of tourists, and you know, a lot of places would really give their eye teeth to have a little sign saying this was shot here.
Just come in. Very fresh. Usual arrangement. Don't see why not.
Are we ever going to learn what the special stuff actually is?
Yeah,
I keep asking for it, but...
You particularly, Andrew. Well, we've still got that under wraps, haven't we?
Yeah, never tell anything.
Yeah.
That's the way to keep them guessing.
Are we going to get more of Royston Vasey? Have you got the appetite back again fully?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we started doing live shows in Edinburgh and in London on the Fringe, and so that 20 years later we're going to go back on the road. So this year we're doing a tour of the UK and also Australia and New Zealand, and I think that's for us going back to our roots. We started as live performers, and it'll be really exciting to get back and see what people make of the characters now.
It's very rare that you get a full League of Gentlemen, so thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the League of Gentlemen will be live again on tour across Britain from August. This week's deal in Brussels certainly marked a move forwards towards Brexit, seen by some as a breakthrough. Others thought the British government had given away too much too soon. It's been hard pounding and late nights for days.